What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. We finally came out with a win. If you was checking for me on my channel, I wasn't there. I was on the Hubs channel, but man, I don't know how to feel about this win. It was definitely exciting because we got a win, of course, and the fact that the defense really stepped up today. Two picks by Xavier McKinney, and the range on that second pick from McKinney was really, that was something serious. I haven't seen that kind of range from out of a Giant safety in a long time. It's been a while since I've seen something like that. So, really nice play by Xavier McKinney. He's been getting better and better every game. He's been all over the place on the back end. He's going to have, what I think maybe he has 4 or 5 interceptions this year. I think maybe he has at 4. But McKinney's doing his thing. So, he really stepped up. Also got that pick six on the first interception. Really read it right. Cut down on that interception, on that throw to the outside, and really made Derek Carr and the Raiders pay for going at him. So McKinney really stepped up, and Quincy Roche. What can I say, people? Quincy Roche was a guy that I thought was going in the third round. I thought he was going in the third round. I talked about it all off season. I wanted the Giants to take him in the third round. As the fourth round, fifth round, sixth round came around, I was like, why haven't the Giants, or why hasn't he been drafted? So the Steelers waived him. The Giants picked him up. I threw a mini celebration. And while the Giants haven't been as good as I've expected, Quincy Roche is slowly proving that he is the player that I thought he was. End of the game, it's up to our defense to get a stop. The Raiders are driving, and Quincy Roche turns the corner, gets low, draws the holding call, which would have knocked him back 10 yards and done a really good thing for our defense. And on top of that, he forces the fumble. So he doesn't leave it up to the refs, doesn't leave it up to Derek Carr anymore. Fumbles, Derek Carr fumbles. We get the ball back, ball game. The defense showed up all day today. James Bradbury and Xavier McKinney, or James Bradbury and Adoree Jackson, in my opinion, the past 3 or 4 weeks, they have lived up to the hype. They have been every bit as good as I expected them to be on the outside, and they continue to play. They continue to ball out, and I really am happy that at the beginning of the season it looked really really bad. Bradbury was getting beat all over the place, but they've settled in, and they really look like a good tandem there. When you look at how James Bradbury's been used the last 2 weeks, genius idea. Of course, I also had this kind of idea in my head just as a fan, just watching. I thought Bradbury would be really good on these tight ends because I saw Brandon Browner do it in years past. I saw a ton of these big corners line up on these tight ends and do a really good job. So Bradbury did a great job on Travis Kelce last week and another great job this week on Darren Waller. Darren Waller didn't really impact the game unless Bradbury was off of him. So great job by Bradbury to really limit their best player on offense, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think that's a debate. Maybe it's between him and Derek Carr, but Darren Waller was limited pretty much this entire game. What else was there on defense? Bradbury did his thing. Leo pretty much had pressure the entire game. Dex came through a couple of times. We had a couple of bad drives, and it was because they were able to run the ball. Guess who was there? I mean, Danny Shelton came back out of hiding. Danny Shelton was off of the injury report and he was in the game and he was getting pushed all around, just like he always does. Danny Shelton has been the bane of our existence as Giants fans. He hasn't been good. He hasn't played well at all. He gets pushed around, and the dude is 350, 360, probably 370 something pounds. And he just gets pushed around like a kid. So I don't know why Danny Shelton continues to get playing time. He shouldn't. You look at that defensive line. A lot of times they didn't get pressure, but when they did, I would say Leo got the most pressure. The rest of the guys kind of got timely pressure. Aziz had a shot of taking down Derek Carr, but Derek Carr spun out of it. So not a big deal right there, but of course great that Quincy Roche ended that game with that strip sack. Look at Logan Ryan. When you look at Logan Ryan, he had a couple of plays that I really didn't like. He had a couple of missed tackles, a couple of plays where he was bad in coverage. Logan Ryan seems like he lost a step. He doesn't seem like he's the same player that he was. He seems like he's further along with the safety position mentally, but physically he does not seem like that same player that he was last year. So I'm thinking he probably is in his last year as a Giant. Looking at the rest of the defense, they were solid. Tay Crowder shot the gap a couple of times, made a couple of nice plays. Other than that, the defense really won us this game, which leads me to the offense. Or first, I'll make a pit stop in special teams. Keon Crossing, Keon Crossing. Where can I start? First off, he attacks the punter pretty much after the play, goes and hits the punter, knocks the punter out. We lose 15 yards that way. Then the next or a couple of plays after, when we punt the ball. Keon Crossing watches the ball rolling. It's rolling like almost as if it's going to be inside their 5 yard line, and he just goes and grabs the ball. We traded for Keon Crossing specifically for special teams. He cannot have special teams blunders. That's something I didn't like. But that's pretty much it as far as special teams goes. He also forced a fumble, and we couldn't get the fumble back. So luckily, we were able to force that fumble on the last drive because we should have gotten that ball back deep in their territory, and who knows what would have happened. So when you look at the offensive line was not good. Both tackles, horrible. However, the run game came alive completely. I don't know what's going on with the Raiders, but they let us run the ball pretty much the entire game with Devontae Booker, with Eli Penny, with Daniel Jones. We ran the ball all day. We didn't have any resistance as far as that goes, running the football. Devontae Booker should have gone over 100 yards, but he ended up not doing it. I could have sworn I saw him run past the 99 yards and get over 100, but I guess he might have gotten tackled for a loss after that. So Devontae Booker, 99 yards, almost had 100 yards against his former team. I'm sure he was hyped up for that game. The offensive line did a great job, but also Devontae Booker did a lot of good things as far as making people miss behind the line of scrimmage, making sure people didn't tackle him behind the line, and making something out of nothing a couple of times. So shout out Devontae Booker for a really good game. And the run blocking was overall the best I've seen since last year. So the run blocking was great. Same thing with Eli Penny. That dude continues to impress me as a runner of the football, being a fullback. I think that Eli Penny's a running back. I mean, I think he can run as a fullback, but I think he's a running back. I think he can really run the ball like a running back can. Eli Penny is an explosive player for his size. He's a good player with the ball in his hands. Really decent vision, and he played running back in college, so that shouldn't be that big of a surprise. I think we probably want to use him a little bit more in the flats too. Kind of worked out last week really well, except we ended up getting that penalty. This is our second week in a row we played against the AFC West team, and we're in it to the end. Should have won last week. We pulled it out this week. But I wanted to focus back on the rest of the offense. Daniel Jones, nothing special. 15 for 20, 110 yards, a touchdown. 75% completion percentage, but only 110 yards. Nothing to write home about at all. Nothing special. He also fumbled the ball, gave them 3 points. Luckily that the defense really stood up today. But average game by Daniel Jones. It didn't really make that much of an impact. He scrambled for a couple of first downs that ended up getting his field goals. But overall, not a huge game, not a notable game from Daniel Jones at all. We really won in spite of him. He kind of went along for the ride, if you ask me, this particular game. So Daniel Jones, 110 yards. You live with it. We won the game, but he cannot lose the ball the way he did on that fumble. And, you expect a little bit more than 110 yards, but understanding the game plan, he wasn't going to have a bunch of yards anyway. Looking at, we got Kenny Galladay back this week. We got Kadarius Toney back. And it seems like week 1, week 2, week 3, Kenny Galladay just doesn't have the chemistry with Daniel Jones. There was one play where Galladay, I guess, maybe DJ thought he was running a sluggo, and he didn't. So they don't have the chemistry. DJ doesn't give him the opportunities. He made a couple of great catches on some slants, but overall, he doesn't get the ball that much. Same thing with Kadarius Toney. He only got one catch for 9 yards. He made someone miss and got the first down. But for some reason, we do not scheme these guys open. We don't run plays for these people. Kyle Rudolph looked pretty decent. He was our leading receiver, I'm pretty sure. Pretty much caught everything that they threw at him, unless he was really draped. But Kyle Rudolph looked really good for what we brought him in here to do. He's finally being used like Kyle Rudolph has been used his entire career. So I'm excited about that. And then when you look at Evan Ingram, He caught the game when he caught the game starting touchdown. Made a nice catch over that DB. He's been a lot more solid this year. Not nearly as many drops and fumbles this year, so he's got his mindset a little bit better. He's not making those dumb mistakes, and Evan Ingram is doing his thing. Other than that, the offense really got carried. Way too many chances in the red zone where we couldn't capitalize. 9 points in the red zone, or nine field, 3 field goals, 9 points. So that's 21 points that we could have had if we would have been able to capitalize. So that's unacceptable. This team has got to start scoring in the red zone, or we're not going to be a very good team. We already aren't, but you get what I'm saying. We're not going to be able to sustain this if we can't score in the red zone. So those are my thoughts. I should have a more detailed video. Look out for the film session. I'll probably be doing something on McKinney, something on Roche, something like that. Check it out. Bye week coming up, so we got some time. Bucks after that. We're going to get our left tackle back finally. We'll probably have Saquon back, and we'll see how we look at the end of this season as we go into this last stretch of the season. I mean, can we make a playoff push? I highly doubt it, but hopefully we can make it interesting and keep fans engaged as we go down the stretch.